Hey, what's up guys? Clint here, back with another video, and in today's video I'm going to show you how I built this React.js front-end application here. So also a cool thing about this, we're going to be using React.js version 6, updated version here. So right here is our hero banner here. It displays the full width and height of the screen. Got a nice little nav bar here at the top. We're going to be using some Flexbox as well as some grid system here in this website here. So I have a nice data recovery component here. Then boom, got a cloud security component and a nice custom footer here using the grid system here at the bottom. So nice little input here. Got the icon inside the input, some nice little social icons here, and a cool little background footer here. So, and notice we're using React Smooth Scroll, so we can get a nice smooth transition scrolling to the top. And then we are using React.js version 6, so all these links are active here. Got their data recovery here, boom, and we're using the footer component. Have our cloud, there we go, looking nice. These all work just fine. Boom, there we go. And a nice little contact page, custom styled form here. So we go ahead back over to their home page here. So if you're a beginner to React, I'm going to show you how to do everything. We're going to walk through it from the beginning. We're going to be starting in a blank VS Code terminal here. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, you guys, here I am. I'm on my desktop here. I have a blank terminal open. What I want to do is go ahead and change the directory to my desktop. And then let's create our React app with npx create-react-app. And I'm going to call this data secure React. Once that has been created, I want to go ahead and change the directory once more to my data secure React. And then we can go ahead and open up our code editor. This will only take a minute, you guys. Almost there. There we go. Almost there. There we go. All right. Boom. Let's go ahead and open this up. All right, so let's go ahead and press the control backtick button to open up our terminal here. And we're going to go ahead and type npm start to start our development server. Should open right over here. Already have on port 3000, so we'll just start on 3001 here. This is just going to be the create React app boiler code here. There we go. Looks good here. So on the left side here, this is our application we created here, the data secure React. Now we're only going to be working out of the source folder here, so don't worry about these other files for now. So let's go into our source folder here, and then I'm going to clean this up a little bit so it's a little bit easier to follow. We're not going to need all these files here. So the logo SVG, report web vitals, and the setup test, go ahead and select those as well as this app.test and app.css, and we're just going to remove those. We're going to get some errors, that's okay. To fix those errors, let's go into index.js. We'll remove this down here, and it's also importing this web vitals that we just deleted, so we'll remove that. In our app.js file here, we can go ahead and remove some of this boilerplate code here, and we can go ahead and remove that class name as well as this div. We'll just leave it as an empty fragment for now. And then up the top here, we can just import React from React. There we go. And it should just be a blank page here. So we can type some text just to make sure everything is working. There it goes. Perfect. So the way we're going to set up this, we're going to be working out of our source folder, and we're going to have an assets folder and a components folder. And then later on, we're going to have a routes folder as well for all our pages. So let's go ahead and create an assets folder here. And let's also create our components folder, and we'll create our routes page later. So inside my assets here, I already have all of my images picked out. And if you'd like to just use mine, I'll put a link to the Github Repo in the description below, so you can just download those when you start the video here. So now that we have all our assets here inside our component folder, let's create another folder, and we're going to have, say, a Nav Bar folder, and we're going to have a hero folder, and we'll create the rest in just a minute here after we spin up some of these here. So let's create a new file in our hero. We'll do the hero first. We're going to call it hero.js, and then we'll have a hero styles.css. There we go. Now I have React EX7 snippets installed, so I can just type RAFCE. It's going to generate a functional component here. There we have it. Saves a lot of time on other coding. And let's go ahead and import our style sheet here, which is hero styles.css. Boom, there we go. In our app.js, we need to import this. We'll call this hero. If it doesn't auto import, you can press the control spacebar button at the end of the component here, and it should give us the option to auto import those. So saves a little time there. So now we have our hero component, and what we want to do for our hero component, we're going to give this, I'm going to change this over so my shortcuts work here. And for our hero component, what we're going to do is we're going to give this here a class name of hero, and we're also going to have a container around our website here. So let's have a div for the class name of container. Then we're going to have a content div here as well. So the h1 here, we're going to say data. Then just below here, we're going to have another h1, and we're going to say secured. And then we'll just go down again, but instead of secured, we'll say protection. There we go. And I'm going to give this h1 just a class name of blue, and we'll come back and do some styling here in a minute. Then after this h1 here, within the content, we're going to have another div with a button here, and we're just going to say, boom, there we go. That's actually all the HTML or JSX actually here for this component here. So what we can do next, let's go into our index.css file here. And the way we're going to keep the index.css file. We're just going to use it as like a global style sheet. So I have my, I'm importing a link here from Google. We're going to use the Roboto link here, the Roboto font here. So there we go. We can just paste that at the top. You're fine using just one of the stock fonts here. I'm just kind of trying to spruce it up a little bit here. We are going to be using CSS variables. So this is how we access our variables, or this is how we create our variables, the colon, the root here. And then we could name our variables. We're going to store our colors in our variables so I don't have to remember the hex code. So this first one's going to be primary color. And we are using 0FB8E0. There we go. And then also we're going to have a primary dark, which is going to be just like a dark blue color. And that one's going to be 0D2154. There we go. And we're going to have a span here with our color. This is how we access our CSS variables here. So we're going to put variable var here, and then we could just call our color here. And this one's going to be primary color. So now I just want to define a few things. The box sizing, we're going to want to set that to border box and give our margins 0, and also our padding 0 for our padding and margin defaults here. So for our body, we can go and change your fonts here. If you're keeping it the same, that's totally fine. I'm just going to switch mine over to Roboto since I imported it at the top here. Now for down here, I'm going to add a few things. List style type here on our unordered list. I'm going to set that to none. I give some space down here. For our A tags, I want the text decoration to be none. That'll remove the underline. And then also I'm going to change this font to a color to white here. Oh, that's black. There we go. And I'm going to increase font size to 1.2 rem, the line height of 1.4. There we go. And I'm going to give a couple our header fonts here. So for H1, I want a font size of 3.5 rem. And for an H2, let's say font size 3 rem. And we can go ahead and define our containers in here, just at least the width of them. So a max width, we're going to do 1240 pixels with the margin to be auto here. And we'll have a, let's see here. I'll leave it at that for now. So let's go ahead and style some buttons in here as well. So we'll have just a button tag. We're not having any classes on them. Font family. I want this to be a Roboto again. Whoa. Okay, let's delete all that. And we'll leave that sans serif there at the end, just so there's a default font there. padding, we'll say 0.7 rem and 1.5 rem. There we go. Margin 1 rem, 0. Background color bar, primary color, and we'll do a border 1 pixel, solid bar, primary color. There we go. See, a lot easier than remembering that hex code there. And then we'll have a color of, I usually just type out the ones I remember. Give it a little thicker look there. I'm going to span these. So border, yes, we'll say 4 pixels. A little soft around the edges there. Then we'll have a hover effect here. The background color. And I'm not going to be using this one very much, so I'm just going to type this one in. 47DCF. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and copy that because we're going to use it as well just below here for our border. There we go. Looking nice. Now just add a couple media queries just for, we'll say, just for our font sizes. We'll say a max width 940 pixels. There we go. I'll put a space there to remove that. So for H1, we'll move the font size down to 3 rem. It was 3.5. And for our H2, we'll just move the font size down to 2.5 rem. There we go. So that should be it for our global styles. I don't think we're going to need to come back in there as anytime soon here. So now we have our hero, all our JSX completed for our hero. Now let's go ahead and put in our background image. So we're grabbing the hero class name here. I'm going to give it a width of 100%. And we'll do a height of maybe 75. Let's do 100 viewport heights here. We're going to take up the full width of the screen. And the background is looking for is that cyber BG here in the assets, right there. So to get our background, we're going to use the URL here. And then we're looking for, see our assets folder. There it is. And we're getting cyber BG. There we go. Got a nice background here. It's not sized properly. That's why it's just a huge image. So let's give it some sizing properties. I'm going to give it the no repeat and a size position of center and center cover. And that should look nice there. Boom. Now, whatever we do with our browser, it fits perfectly. It just covers the whole browser. So there we go. Looking nice there. Now for our container here, we have already defined the width. So we just want to display this as grid, and then we're going to use grid template columns. We're just going to use the same too, so we can just hit repeat 2 and 1 fractions here. And now for our content, this is where our H1s are here. So we'll say hero. Let's go down a line there. Give some space. Hero content. There we go. And we want a height here. It's going to take up about 75% of our screen. And we'll display as flex with a flex direction column. And we'll do justify content to the center and padding 1 rem. And then margin left, we'll say 6 rem, so it kind of sticks off on the side. And for our H1, give it a color here. Go, boom, nice. And we have our span here as well. So, or our, not our span, give it a class name of blue. So that way we can just access our variable here. Primary. All right, let's have a look. There we go. So open this up. This looks pretty nice. Looks perfect. There we go. We're about to add our nav bar at the top. But if we close that down, it's kind of middle of the screen. So let's move that over some. We'll do our media query here. And we'll say max width of 900. Let's do a little bit. Oops, sorry about that there. Get out of there. All right. Sorry about that pop-up, guys. We'll say 940 pixels. I'm going to say margin left. Change it just to 1 rem there. So see, whoops, got to select it. And that is our hero content. Just put it in there. And let's have a look. Oh, there it goes. Looking nice, looking nice. All right, so that's it for our hero component. It looks pretty sweet as it is. I think that looks great. Let's throw our nav bar here at the top so we can really start coming together. So let's go ahead and close those folders or those files. Done with the hero. Now for our nav bar, let's create a couple files here. We want a navbar.js. There we go. And also a navbar styles.css. Okay, so let's create our functional component, RAFCE, if you have the shortcut here. And I'm going to change this over so my shortcuts work. And we'll say class name of navbar here. Boom, there we go. Let's go ahead and import our style sheet. And we can add this to our app. Put it right here. Needs to go above actually here. So navbar up, and let's press the control space button. Boom. Got it auto imported at the top. If it didn't auto import, make sure you add it in here at the top. So for our navbar here, what we want to do, we're going to be using a container here around our navbar as well. So let's create another div with a class name of container. There we go. And then we're going to have a div here with a class name logo. And this is where we're going to use some React icons here. Then also, let's go and install our React icons. Boom, there we go. So you can either close the server or you can see the plus sign. We'll open up a new terminal. And we'll just type npm I React icons. It's a dependency we're going to be installing. If you search React icons, you'll find it here. I already have my icons picked out. So what we're going to be using is SI Databricks for our icon. So just in here, I'm going to type in SI Databricks, and this is how we access our React icons here. And you can give them class names. So I'm going to give mine a class name of icon so we can style it some. And then you can just self-close it there. But we need to import it here at the top. So let's go ahead and select that. And then just here at the top, the way we import React icons, we're going to import the inside some curly brackets here from React-icon. Now, you have to put all the different React icons have different little pretext here, like the SI, some are FI, some are FA, some are AI. So just make sure you put that at the end here, otherwise you'll get an error. So boom, there we go. Let's just reload that. Something's going on here. Let's see what's going on. SI Databricks was not found. Maybe I misspelled it. SI. Let's make sure here. Did I misspell it in any way? It's not defined. There we go. I guess I just had it misspelled. So here is our React icon. We'll come back and style it here in a minute. Don't you worry about that there. All right, so for our nav menu, it's going to be a UL, and we'll give it a class name of nav menu. Boom, there we go. And then we're going to have just li here. We're going to have a home. I'm going to copy this down a few times. Here, we're going to have a recovery. Well, it'll be like data recovery. This one can be cloud. We'll have a contact. And we can remove this last one here, but still within this unordered list, we'll have a button with sign in. There we go. Perfect. Already have our button styled on our global style sheet here. And then just below this UL, let's do a div with the class name of hamburger. This is going to be our icon here. And for our icon, we're going to use a FA bars. Boom. There we go. And let's go up here. We need to import that. We're going to have to import it on a different line. Since this pretext is FA, so React icons, and this one's just going to be FA, just like that. So should see our icon here in a minute. There it is, perfect. So let's go in and do some styling for our nav bar here, and then we'll go ahead and add some state to it so we can toggle it. So for our nav bar, we want a width of 100%. We'll get a bit of height of 100 pixels here. Position absolute. that we want to stay at the top. There we go. Perfect, perfect. And Z index 10, we always want it to be on top here. Now for our container, let's say, want to display flex and justify content space between and align all the items to the center here. So that's going to lay them all flat. I know it's kind of hard to see them here, but there they are. So we can still see it there, just kind of, we're going to change the colors here in a minute. So Nav Bar, let's select our logo div here. And we can do display flex, line items to the center, since we are using the icon in there. And we'll use a white color. Should have our icon there. Boom, there we go, there we go. Looks nice there. All right, so let's select our nav menu next. Let's see if we can do our icons here. Let's give it a font size 3 rem, margin right 1 rem, and color. Let's use that light blue. Aha, there we go. That looks clean. All right, looks good. All our colors are matching. That looks beautiful. There we go. Perfect. Now, for our hamburger here, we'll go ahead and just hide that. So we don't want it to be displayed on full screens here. So let's set the display none, but padding on 1 rem here when it does display. Now, let's do our nav bar, nav menu. There we go. And display flex. There we go. Give some padding. And for our list items here, one rem, let's make it a little bit thicker with some font weight. We'll say 600. There we go. Color. So we can see them. Boom. There we go. There we go. All right. And let's do, let's see how we're going to do this. All right, we'll slide this back down some. There we go. Everything is lining up perfectly. So let's go ahead and style. If we're gonna have any icons in here, I'm gonna break this up. Let's see what we're doing here. All right, perfect, perfect. So let's go ahead and style our hamburger and our other icon that we're gonna use. We're gonna use the FA times to have a little close here. So nav bar icon, let's do font size 1.4 rem and the color of white. There we go. And now let's style up how our mobile menu is going to look here. So let's go ahead and add a media query. We'll do at a media screen, and we'll say max width. Max width 940 pixels there. Boom, there we go. So now we're going to want our hamburger to display block here. There we go. Nav bar. We'll say nav bar, nav menu. Okay, there we go. So now what we're going to do is style the way our nav bar is going to look on mobile devices. So we want to position it as absolute, so we're going to hide it off the screen. Then flex directions column, it already has the flex property. There we go. Let's give it a background RGBA. Let's do we'll do black with a alpha of 0.8. There we go, perfect. Now let's make this thing a little bit bigger. 100% height, 100 viewport heights. There we go. We want the top to be 0, left 0 for now. And there we go. Let's align items to the center. Whoa, what happened there? There we go, perfect, there we go. Justify content center. Put it down in the middle. There we go. Boom. That's what we want right there. That's what we want. And let's make these links a little bit bigger. Nav bar. Line, let's say margin 1 rem. And let's give it a font size 2 rem. Oh, nav bar. There we go. Let's make that button a little bit bigger since that's going to be on a mobile device as well. Nav bar button font size 1.8 rem. There we go. A little bit bigger. Perfect. Perfect. All right, so actually that's how we want our nav menu to look on a mobile device, but we don't want it to be, we don't want it to show our menu until we click on a button. So let's go ahead and hide this off of the screen. We're going to say negative 100%. We're just going to have make this a side drawer from the left. Then what we want to do is add an active class. And in here, we're just going to say left is 0. So whenever our active class is enabled, the mobile screen is going to slide onto our page here. And we need to see, where is our hamburger button here? Let's have a look here. Let's give this class name icon. Maybe it's hiding there. Boom, there it is. Okay. It's probably just behind the screen there. Might have to change the Z index. So let's use, let's go ahead and make our nav menu functionable. So we're going to be using the uState hook here. So let's import that at the top. You have to import it right here. Then this is where our state's going to be, just right here under our nav bar. So the way we're going to have uState is const. This is going to take in 2 values, and then it's just going to be equal to uState. And we're going to set the default value as false, just a Boolean value there for now. Now this one I'm going to say nav and set nav, kind of conventional naming here. Then we're also going to want to have an arrow function. And I'm going to call this handle nav in camel case there. And this is going to just set the nav. We'll just say opposite of what it is. So that if it's false, that'll make it true there. So down here, we'll have an onClick event here. So we'll add this to our hamburger right here. And we can just say onClick. We're going to run the handle nav function. There we go. Now we have our nav menu here. So this is where we need to toggle our class. So what we can actually do is just delete this right here. And when we open up some curly brackets, that's going to allow us to type some JavaScript into our class name here. And what we want to say is we're going to use a ternary operator. So basically a ternary operator say if what we specify is true, then execute this, else we're going to execute that. So our nav, if nav is true, what we want to execute is the nav menu and the active class, so it's on the screen. And if it's not true, which the default value is false, we just want to show the nav menu. All right, let's see if this works here. Uh-oh, something's going on. Let's have a look here. OnClick, handle nav. These look good. Let's go in here. That looks good. Let's see. There we go. Perfect. All right, that's what we want right there. Awesome. So let's change this menu here. Instead of the bars, whenever we click it, let's change it to an X. So let's go in here, and I'm going to import another icon here. So FA times is what this one's going to be called. And just like we did above here, we're going to just go right under here. We're going to open up curly brackets. We can enter our JavaScript in here. We want to say if nav is not true, we put an exclamation there. If nav is not true, then what we want to do is open up these curly brackets. Else we're going to open up these in here. And what we're going to put in here is our FA. See, if nav is false here, we'll have this as FA bars. Let's give it a class name icon. Oh, got to close it off here. There we go. Else, let's show the FA times. So it needs to be capitalized with a class name of icon. And don't forget, let's close that out. So let's have a look here. Let's just delete that. And there we go. All right, perfect. There we go. And if your icon right here If it is not, once you click and enable the nav bar, if you can't click it, it's probably the Z index problem. So you probably just have to raise the Z index to like 5 or 10 there. So perfect. That's what we want. Let's give it a little transition. We'll say transition, no transform. We'll say 0.3. Cool, cool. Let's have a look. That's not what we want. Let's see. Transition 0.5. Have a look here. There we go. All right, that's what we want. That's what we want. That's clean right there. All right, that's perfect. That's perfect. And you can darken that up if you want. I have it at 0.8. You can have it up to 9, or you can have it completely black, or however you want to do it. So let's have a look here. I think that's everything here for our nav bar. Let's open it up to full screen. Boom, there we go. Looks nice. We have the nice container going around everything. Everything's displaying just beautifully there. So what are we doing next here? Next is this data recovery thing here. So let's go back and go back into our code editor. We can close out our nav bar files. We're done with those for now. Close that folder. Let's create another folder, and we'll just call it data. Then the data, we'll have a data.js. Let's have a data styles.css. There we go. And inside, we're going to type RAFCE to generate our functional component there. And up here, let's import our data thing, data component here. So data auto import, boom, there we go. Make sure it imports. All right, so use my shortcuts here. So what we want to do is give this a class name here, and this one's going to be data. There we go. Let's go and import our style sheet. There we go, boom. And we are going to be using a container here. Whoops. There we go. So container, and we're also be using a content div in here. So in here, let's have inside our content div. Let's scroll down so we can see. Right. Okay, so in here, we're going to have an H2, and we're going to have a span here. Let's say data recovery. There we go. And let's do, I'm going to use a lorem 30 there, just to generate some dummy text. And then just under that, I'm going to add a div with my button here. Let's have a look. There we go. Okay, so that's coming together. Already have our span there, so we defined our span with the color blue and our global style sheet here. So let's jump into some styling here. Perfect, there we go. So for our data, we wanted to take up a full width of the screen, and our height is also going to be the full width, so 100 viewport heights. And we're going to have an overlay on this. So the way we have to do that, we have to give this position as relative. So we're using a background image, and we're going to have a darker overlay on top of it. So this is going to be our overlay here, and we're going to be using a black overlay. There we go. And we'll give it an alpha of, we'll say just 0.1. So just a slight overlay here. And then the way we're going to add in the image here, say data before, there we go. Now we're going to have content here set to an empty string, and not count content. And we're going to want to display this as absolute here. So, or position this as absolute. Don't have to mess around with the display properties. Let's get our background image here. And the image we are looking for in our assets folder is going to be data-bg. There we go. So it's in there, but we can't see it. Let's add it in some positioning here. We want center cover. And we need to add in some other properties here. Height, 100%. Width, 100%. And let's give it a Z index. There we go. I think that's going to be good there. Perfect. Yes, that's what we want. Make sure it follows the full width and length of the screen. There we go. Perfect. Let's go ahead and style up some of this content here. Add some room, and we'll say data content. We want to display as flex, flex direction column. There we go. And justify content to the center with a position of absolute. When it left 50%, top 30%, and width 50%. So, and we'll come back and do some media queries here. So let's see how this looks. We want to be on the right side of the screen. There we go. Well, we could have done a grid, but this is fine too. There we go. Perfect, perfect. All right. Let's close that back down. All right. Let's give this a little bit of a margin here. There we go. Just add a little bit of space. Now for our media query, we're just going to say the media query at 940 pixels. And it's going to be our data content. We'll move this back over to the left with a width of 100%, padding 1 rem. And let's see here. There we go. That's kind of hard to read here. We can give this just a little background overlay of like a white or even a gray. So let's give this a background. We'll say, we'll do the white this time. There we go. And let's give it a, okay, yeah, there we go. You can actually see that there. So that looks good right there. Now for our next section there, boom, there we go. That looks clean. Cloud security is what we're doing next. That looks good too. I really like the colors going on here with the background images. All right, so that's what we're going to do next. Let's jump into the cloud. So closing and finishing off with these here. Now, somehow I'd open this node modules to close that. And we can close that data. Now let's create another component here, another component folder. It's going to be cloud component. Boom, cloud. Now let's do a cloud.js and then also our style sheet here. So we'll say cloud styles.css. There we go. Now inside of our app, let's go ahead and import it here. Go ahead, hit enter, get auto import. Whoa. There we go. I just hit the wrong thing there. That's right. Import. We'll just type it in manually. No big deal. Boom, there we go. Cloud. There we go. All right. Make sure that's right. What's going on here? Okay, it's having issues. We haven't created our component. Go ahead and type RAFCE here, generate our component. There we go. Now, let's switch this over once more. Let's give this a content. Let's see. This one's going to be a class name of cloud, and we are going to want the a container in here as well. So we're going to do container and the content just like the others here. Boom, there we go. There we go. And now, what's it say? Cloud security. So let's go ahead and do it just like the other ones, H2. And we're going to have a span here with a cloud. Security, boom, there we go. And we'll do lorem 30 again. And in here, let's give a div with a button. Boom, sign up. There we go. Have a look. Boom, there we go. Everything's still styled. Well, let's import this here, our style sheet. So we can do our custom styles. Boom, there we go, there we go. All right, let's go into our style sheet here. Going to be doing a width 100. So let's call our cloud width 100%, height 100, viewport heights. We're going to be throwing a background over this as well. So let's give it a position relative. It's going to have a background image with an overlay on it. So let's do our overlay here. RGBA, we're going to do black, maybe like a 3 alpha. Say 0.3, boom, there we go. There we go. There's our overlay looking nice. Now for our background image, we'll set cloud before, and what we're going to do is set the content to an empty string, and then we're going to want to position this absolute, just like the other one there. And for this image here, it's going to be the cloud image, so background, now URL there, and let's, now let's look for this image. It's the cyber security cloud, there we go. Let's add in, there we go, boom. Let's have a look here. We need to add a, let's see, a height of 100% width. There we go. There we go, there we go. And make sure it's looking nice. That's what we want right there. Cool. Let's style our content here, our H2 and our P tag there. And so cloud content, and we want to do position absolute on that one as well. There we go. Left 0, we'll say top 30% with 50%. RAM, there we go. Right. And let's give our P tag here. I'm gonna make it white. Kind of off-white there. 1 rem on the top and bottom. Boom, there we go. That should be what we want. We need to add in some mirror queries. Oh, that's not in our container there. We'll have to come back and fix that. No big deal. Yeah, we definitely want that. Probably all of these as well. Yeah, we'll come back and fix that. So for our media queries, let's go ahead and add those. Max width of, that's right, 940 pixels. Then we already have that at 0, but that's what we want right there. Looking clean. All right. Let's have a look at our index here. Container, max width. So let's see here. We'll come back and have a look at that here in a minute. So let's go ahead and do our, boom, yeah, we have our footer there. Let's hit our footer next there. Go ahead and smash that like button if you're liking this here. So let's hit that footer, add our icon there at the bottom. Let's have a look here. So let's go into our components folder. Oh, that's not what we want to do. Add another directory there, footer. Footer.js, boom, there we go. Footer styles.css, there we go, there we go. RFCE, let's get our functional component here, and we'll import this. Boom, get an auto import, there it goes. It's here at the top. Looking good, looking good. Now for our footer, what we want to do, we're going to be using the grid system for our footer here. I'm going to have like probably 4 or 5 sections here. We're using some React icons as well, all our social icons. So let's go ahead and let's close everything here to the right. Actually, we do want our footer open here. Boom. I feel like it gets kind of cluttered. Let's go ahead and import our style sheet. Footer styles.css. Boom, there we go. Now we want to give this a class name of footer. There we go. And we're going to have a container here, which we're going to have to come back and have a look at. I hate when my snippets don't work here. There we go. Then we have the top div here, and then we're also going to have a we're going to have our column container. There we go. Column. There we go. There we go. And for our top, the logo footer, SI, data, bricks, class name, icon here. And let's go ahead and close that off. Make this a little bit easier to read. See if we can auto import this. Is it going to work? Ah, there it is. Perfect. Nice. There it is right there at the bottom. You see that? All right, cool. We're going to have to style our icons, but that's looking good right there. Now, let's give this H2 secured. That's going to be basically just our logo again down here in the footer here. So that's what we're going to be, that's what we're designing right there. Now we have our, let's see, we want to use this arrow here. What is that? BS. I'm just going to copy this over here. Boom. Now, and this is going to be inside the top div, outside the logo footer. There we go. Icon. There we go. Perfect. Let's auto import that. Is it working? Not going to work. That's okay. That's okay. Make sure that one's copied. Going to import that one on a different line. Boom. And this one's going to be BS, just like that. Boom, there we go. All right. Now, for our columns here, what we want to have, we have an H3. I'm going to call this navigation. You have some P tags under here. Home. We'll say data. Cloud. Contact. There we go. Let's just copy this down a few times. 2, 3, 4. There we go. This one's going to be my account. I'm going to leave all these the same here. There we go. Now we're looking. There we go. So we're using 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then our div down here at the bottom. Perfect. So underneath this column here, still within our column container here, though, we're going to have another div. Actually, let's create just a, we'll say a form here. And we don't need an action. But within inside our form, we're going to have H3. They join our team. This is where our input's going to be here. So input, type text, actually want it to be email. Not important. We'll have a placeholder. Enter your email. There we go. Now, under our input, we're going to use this is how we're going to import our icon into our input form here. So fi mail class name mail icon, and then underneath our input container we're going to have a div social group. This is going to be our icons, and in here let's have it fi Instagram class name social icon. Now I'm going to copy this down a few times here. Do one more. This one is going to be fi Facebook. Not using FA. Let's do FI. It's a little bit different. There we go. And after Facebook, this one is going to be LinkedIn. Then this is going to be Dribble. And then we'll have the GitHub here at the very bottom. There we go. There we go. Now we need to import all these. Please work. Ah, dang it. Misspell that one. There we go. So we're gonna have to import these manually. Let's see. Let's see if I can import them now that I have one going. Ah, there we go. Perfect. That's what we want. Did we get all of them? We missing dribble. It's actually, if I mail, what we're using a mail. And let's see. Hey, there we go. All right, perfect. That's what we want right there. Looking good, looking good. All right, so let's hit this thing with some styling so that way we can take care of this this input there down there. It's going to be fun. So let's do a footer, and we'll do a width of 100%. Height, it's going to be 60 viewport heights here. Position of relative, we're going to have that background in here again. So let's do the background, RGBA, 255, there we go. Nice, nice. So footer, before, now content is going to be set to an empty string here. There we go. Position is going to be absolute. Let's grab our image here. And we're looking for the contact. There we go. All right, sorry guys there. Now let's do some styling here. No repeat. Center cover. That's what's up there. Now we want a height 100%. That's what I want. Contact. What do we want? Let's do footer. That's the wrong one. We're going to use that in our contact page. Footer-bg. Is it PNG or? This one's a JPG. That's the problem there. Nice. That's what we want right there. Let's add in some more styling here for our container. There we go. Display flex direction, column, boom, there we go. Line items to the center, justify content. Boom, that's what we want. Let's do some, I'm about to hit our grid system here. All right, let's, after our container, set our top function here. Whoops, this one would be justify content. Let's spread this. Boom, there we go. All right, now display that as flex, align items, center, there we go. Perfect, that's what we want right there. We're gonna have to style our icon too here. Give this some room. So for our font size, margin right, 1 rem. Let's use our variable here, primary color. That's what we want right there. Perfect. And cursor, let's give it a pointer. It's looking good right there. Boom, boom. There we go. Nice. We're going to do a React Smooth Scroll for that one here in just a moment. Boom, there we go. React icon. Now let's do our, let's see, our H2. That looks good. We can drop that down a little bit. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, there we go. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Excuse me. Let's do our grid next. So let's do a footer. Then we have, let's see, column container. We're going to display this as grid. And we want the grid template columns. Let's see here, template columns. And what we're going to do is, so we want 4 columns and then 2 over here. So It's going to be a total of 6 columns. So what we're going to say is 1 fraction, and then this one is going to be 2 fractions. That's what we want. Let's open this up. Cool. There we go. All right. Now what we can say is padding 1 rem, give it a width of 100%. There we go. Let's style some of these H3s here. Margin, 1 rem on the top, 0, and then 2 on the bottom, 0 on the left. Text transform, we'll say uppercase. Boom, there we go. Be bold, stand out there. Footer P, margin, 0.5 rem, 0 on the left and right. There we go. Let's style our form here. Come back and do some media queries in a minute. Footer, and then form. Let's get a width of 100%. Margin, bottom, 10. We'll say 0.6 rem, position, relative. So make sure we do the position as relatives because we want to throw this icon inside of our input container here. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to have our footer, then we're going to select our input, say form, input. Now we're going to give a padding of 1 rem, a width of 100%. We're going to have an outline of none so we don't get this chrome little blue outline. Font size 1 rem, border 1 pixel, solid. We're going to give it kind of like an off-white grayish color. Border radius, we'll say 4 pixels, just like our buttons. There we go. I want to go ahead and add some media queries here before we finish that, just so it's a little bit easier to see. Say 940 pixels. What is going on? All right, so first thing, let's do a footer. All right. So here's where we want to break down our footer columns here. Our column container, we're going to change our grid. It's displaying its grid. Instead of the 6 across, what we want to have is 2, let's say grid, columns, 2 FR, 2 FR. And then for our form, we're going to span that across 2. So footer, form, grid, column. Let's see here. Is it, yeah, grid, column, 1, and then we'll span 2. There we go. That's looking a little bit better there. Still need to fix up these icons here. So let's go back here. Sorry, input. I really just wanted to show this you guys so you could kind of see what we're doing as we throw this icon inside of our input here. So what we're going to do next here is we already defined our input. So let's go down here and we want to change this focus. Oh, what happened? There we go. All right. Input, focus, there we go. Now I'm going to say color, primary color, there we go. Outline, we're going to give it a nice little outline color here. There we go. Box shadow. For our box shadow, we'll do 0, 0, 8 pixels, 0. Let's give it a dark there. That's cool. That's what we want right there. Cool. So, okay, now for our icon here. Footer, form, mail icon is the class name we gave that icon there. And we want to position this as absolute. There we go. Now, font size, let's blow it up a little bit to 1.4 rem. Margin, 1 rem. Right, we want to say 0.2 rem, and we can say that because the position is absolute. There we go. Looking clean, just like that. That's how we're going to do it. Let's change that color. That doesn't look right. Let's change that color. Oh, is that always on focus? How does it look over here? That's funny. All right, all right. So let's go back here. We'll change this. All right, that's a little better there. All right, let's target these icons here so we can blow this up a little bit, make them look nice. And did we give those class name social icon? There we go. All right, all right. Let's give this mail icon cursor pointer. That's good. Technically supposed to be a little submit button there. All right, so now let's target our social icons. Okay, margin, one rem top, one rem on the right, one on the left, or bottom, 0 on the right. 6 rem, let's do a background. Background color, let's do the bar. Primary dark. There we go, there we go. Padding 0.6. Let's do border radius. 4 pixels, there we go. Color. Let's blow this up a little bit. There we go. Clean, clean, clean. Let's open this up, see how it looks. That's what we want right there. Cool. Gonna have to bump this down a little bit. There we go. That's looking nice. That's what we want right there. Cool, cool. All right, let's do this React Smooth Scroll. We'll have this button launch us up to the top of the page. Just a nice little jump there. So we can go ahead and open up this other terminal here. All right, so let's install our dependency here, npm I React Scroll. There we go. And let's go ahead and check out React Smooth Scroll. Boom. All right, this is what we want right here. This is what we just installed. And let's see here. So what we can do, we're going to go into our footer and let's import it here at the top. Import. We're just going to be using the link from React Scroll, not scripts. Scroll, there we go. Perfect. Now, if we scroll down here, I'm just going to copy this right here. This is what we're going to want. And our circle fill up, that's our div there. That's a little up arrow that we want to click on. So I'm going to paste this link in here. I'm going to open this up so you can see a little bit better. So we actually don't need some of this. We're going to delete this here. We don't need this offset. Delete that. And we can just copy this or cut that, and we're just replace that right there. Boom. Save it nice and pretty there. Now this too, let's go ahead and close that, and we'll just say home, or we'll just say top. Now let's go into our nav bar, because that is the very, very top of the page. Close that there. So have a look here, and in here, since it is the top of the page, we can just say name top, just like so. So let's have a look here, see if it is working. Boom, there we go. Looking clean. That is so clean, you guys. That is nice. I love React Smooth Scroll. You don't have to write any JavaScript. It's super simple. Boom, just like that. All right, so let's go ahead and close out the nav bar. Let's set up our React Router DOM version 6 so we can start getting some routes going here. So go ahead and close all of that there. Boom, there we go. Now let's go into our source folder here. Close this down a little bit. So inside our source folder, let's create a new folder. We can call it routes or pages, whatever you'd like to call it. Now, inside of our routes, what we want to have is a recovery route, a cloud route, and also a contact route. So let's go ahead and create those. We're going to say, we'll say recovery.js, and we're going to have a contact page.js. Make sure you name it something different than your components here. They cannot be named the same thing here. So now we're going to create a contact component in there. So in here, contact page, recovery page, and then also let's do a cloud. We'll say cloud page.js. There we go. All right, so for React Router DOM, let's go into our index.js file, and we're going to need to import a few things. So we're going to be using browser router. So let's type browser router. We're also going to be using routes and also just a singular route. And we're going to import this from React Router DOM. And we need to go ahead and install this. So let's install npm I React Router DOM. I believe it's at 6. Let's see here. Let's make sure, just kind of thinking off the top of my head here, make sure that's the right one. React Router DOM, perfect. That's what we wanted. All right, all right. So we have those installed or imported here. Now this React.strip mode, we can go ahead and get rid of that. And want to wrap this entire application in browser router, just like that. Now we can actually get rid of this app here for now. And in here, we're going to surround everything in a route and then have individual route in each one here. So what we're going to have here is routes, boom, just like that. And then we're going to have a route here. This is going to be a path, and this is going to be to our homepage here. So it's going to be to our app. So this is just going to be, like I said, it's going to be our homepage. So use the / there. Then we're going to have an element, and inside our element, we want this to lead to our app there. That's what we want. I'm going to copy this down a few times for our pages. So here is where we want to display our recovery page. Boom. And here is going to be our cloud page. And then here is going to be our contact page. There we go. And this one, the route will be recovery, data recovery, whatever you want to call it, cloud, and contact. Very conventional naming here. All right, so we don't have these. We're going to need to import them. Let's go ahead and do that now. So let's import recovery. We can't auto import them because they're empty files. So we could just go ahead and do it manually. We want to go into the routes folder and we'll grab recovery. Let's go ahead and copy that down because we're going to grab cloud page from cloud page. There we go. And this one is going to be contact page. Contact page. There we go. All right. Excuse me. So let's sorry about that, you guys. Get some coffee here. Let's go into our cloud page here. I'm going to close all these other ones here. So in our cloud page, we're going to generate a functional component here. And what we want to do is, see here, we'll just make this an empty fragment. And for our cloud page, we're just going to be reusing all of our routes. Actually, we're just going to be reusing functional components here, except for our contact page, we'll add the form. So for here, let's go ahead and import, Nav Bar here. It's not wanting to auto import. That's okay. We'll go ahead and import it ourselves. So that, and we're going to have our cloud. We're just going to use our cloud component that we already created. And then also our footer, of course. There we go. So let's import these here. Components. Nav Bar, boom, there we go. And this one is going to be, this one is going to be cloud. And then footer. There we go. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Now let's go to our contact page, or let's do recovery. And we'll do, let's just copy this here. So I'm going to show Control A to select everything, then copy it. And we're going to do the same thing here, but we'll just change this one out with recovery. We actually haven't created this yet, so we can go create this one. This would be a separate one. There we go. And this is just going to be recovery. And then, of course, we have to change the default export at the bottom. Let's go ahead and create this recovery component real quick. So it'll be recovery, and we'll have a recovery.js. Boom, there we go. And RAFCE, let's get our functional component here. Boom, 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 there we go. And we can go ahead and close that there. And we'll close that cloud page as well. So for our recovery, let's give this, change this over so I can use my snippets here. Class name of recovery, boom, there we go. We are going to have a container here. Content, boom. Let's say data recovery, boom, boom. There we go, there we go. Let's use the lorem 30. Sweet. And a div with a button. That's what's up. That's what we want right there. Okay. Now let's import our style sheet, and this is recovery styles.css. Boom. Oh, we're getting an error here. Browser is imported. It's not found. So let's go into, oh, all fixed up. Index.js. Browser router. Racked router DOM. I just misspelled it there, that's all. There we go. Can't resolve cloud page. That's okay. That's okay. That's because we haven't put anything in there yet. Cool, cool. Can't resolve footer. Let's have a look here. Oh, that's why. It's because we didn't go to the Nav Bar folder on all these actually. So sorry about that. Nav Bar, and we'll just say, there we go. Let's see if that fixes it. We're probably gonna do that on all of them. So recovery. Let's look here. What's it looking for? Balance recovery. Let's see, recovery. Okay. Is this it right here? Okay, so this is what I was talking about. I already fell into my own trap here, talking about naming here. So let's just change this. We're going to rename this to recovery page here. There we go. And then that means we have to change this here. And also, yes, that's nice. And also our export head at the bottom. And let's do the same. Update these here. I love how they read out all these errors for you. Makes your life so much easier. So recovery.js. Can't resolve styles. Let's have a look. recovery. Just misspelling, man. Happens to everybody. That's parsing error. Line 7. That's not right. Is that the deal there? No. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and restart my server here. Yes, yes, yes. Sometimes you just need to restart your server. Let's see if that fixes it. If not, we'll have to look a little bit further in here. So recovery, I renamed everything. Okay, yeah. Looks like that's all it needed, just to restart the server. There we go. So let's go into a recovery page. Looks like everything looks well there. Cloud page, everything looks good. Our contact page is empty. That's all right. We're just enter in RAFCE. Let's just add in the footer and nav bar in the footer here. So we'll make that an empty div. And we'll say nav bar auto import. There we go. And let's do the footer as well here. Since we don't have our contact form in here yet. Boom, auto import. There we go. All right. So let's make sure our links are working properly. So to do that, let's see here, we need to set up our routes in our nav bar folder. There we go. And close all these other ones here. So let's import a link here from React Router DOM. I don't want to add an A tag here because we'll have to redo some styling here. So I'm going to see if we can just do this. We'll say home. See if this works. Boom. All right, I think so. I think that's going to work. Let's see here. We'll try this recovery here. Recovery. Boom. Make sure everything's still displaying okay here. All right, perfect, perfect. So let's click on that. Oh, something's going on here. Let's have a look. Let's go into our route recovery. Here we go. That's going to be an issue. Hey, there we go. All right. Let's look into here. Recovery page. Recovery. All right. This recovery. Okay. Do we not add any styles here? Aha, that's what's up. Okay. So let's go add some styles here in our recovery styles here. So let's see here. We have recovery. We want to do a width of 100%, height of 100 viewport heights, and we're probably going to do a background. Let's do our RGBA. We'll have an overlay on this one as well. Boom. And we'll do 0.4. It's going to have to make this position of relative. And next, let's do the recovery before here. And what we're looking for, this content needs to be set to an empty string here. Position, absolute. There we go. Now, let's look for our background image here. It's going to be URL, assets, and recovery. All right, let's add some styling. No repeat, center, cover. Come on, come on. Come on. Oh, yeah, of course. Let's do height 100%, width 100%. Z index going to have to be -1. All right, that's perfect. That's clean. That's what's up. Have our footer down there. Nice, nice. All right, so let's just fix that content there. All right, so we'll say recovery content. Boom, there we go. And we're position absolute. we're doing the top, what was it, 30%, and width 50%, left 0, padding 1 rem. Knock that down there. Boom, there we go. Looks nice. We'll change some coloring here. H2, we'll say, I keep doing that. Color, let's say fade. And let's hit the P tag here. Get our text, and we'll say color. Boom. Let's have a look at that. Ah, there we go. All right, let's add some styling here, or some media query, just so we can have it take up a little more of the screen here. So we'll say media screen, and we'll do a max width, say 940 pixels. Boom. I keep doing that too. All right. And we'll have recovery content with a width. Change that to 100%. That's what's up. That's what we want right there. Nice. And let's see how that works. Boom. So that is our recovery page. Let's see if our home link works. Bam. There we go. All right. All right. Scroll back up to the top there. Nice. So we're done with recovery here. All those look great as well. So let's go back into our cloud here. Oh, not our component, our cloud page. All right, that looks good. So let's set up the route in our nav bar. So got that open. Let's do just the rest of these. I'm just going to copy that. We'll paste it in here. So this one is going to be cloud, and this one's going to be contact. There we go, there we go. I'm going to have to do our form and our contact form, but let's see how this works. Cloud, hey, there we go. Nice, that's our cloud page here. All right, and our contact, yep, have our header and our nav bar. Let's go ahead and set up our, let's do a, see, we could just do a component. Depending whether or not we could throw the form inside of this page, but we can just add in a form component here. Will be just as easy. So let's go ahead and do that as well. So in our components folder here we go, contact, there we go, and we'll just have a contact.js and a contact styles.css. Boom, there we go. REFCE will get our functional component there. Now for here, let's change this over so I can get my extension here. So we'll have a class name, contact. There we go, there we go. Now let's do a container here. Boom, there we go. And we do a form container. All right, now for our form, we don't need an action. It's not actually going to work here. So we'll have a span. We'll say contact us. Boom, there we go. Keeping everything consistent. In here, we're going to have a div with a label. We don't need that. And we'll just say name. Then we'll have an input. Type's going to be text. That's fine. And for a placeholder, we'll say enter your name. Now let's copy this down here for email and type email. Boom. Enter your email. Then down here, we'll change this to message here like so. And actually, we'll just delete, change this to a text area. There we go. And let's set this to rows. Yeah. 10 and columns. Probably 50 there. Let's see how that works. Now we just leave this blank. Now, okay, so next under this div here, we'll have a button. So submit, there we go. Now let's go and do some styling here. So for our styling here, we do want to select contact. We have a width of 100%, height, 100 viewport heights, position relative, boom, there we go. So we're going to do a background overlay again on this one. Oh man, come on. So background, we'll do RGBA. Okay, fine. 0, 0, 0. That's probably faster anyways. 0.5. And contact before content we need to set to the empty string. Now here's our contact. There we go. There we go. Next one. Have a look. We need to import this here. Let's go ahead real quick so we can see what we're doing inside of routes, contact page, and let's import our contact. Boom, there we go. Should just show up right here. Ah, there it is. Not styled yet. Let's go ahead and finish up styling here. So content, we have all this, looks good. Position, absolute, contact, BG. Make sure that's the right thing here. Contact. All right. So let's see here. Position, relative, contact before. Position's absolute, width is 100, height is 100%. The index. That's what we want there. So let's open this up a bit. So we're getting our contact form here. Ah, that's of course. I have to import our style sheet all the time, you guys. Still been doing this. Been learning React for quite a while now, and still leaving out some things like this. Happens all the time. So don't think the experienced guys aren't leaving shit out, because they are. Boom, there we go. Happens to everybody. That's just part of it. All right, so looks good there. Let's finish up our styling here. So we do our form container. See, contact, form container, boom, there we go. First, let's hit her. See, form container. That's what we want right there. So let's see, display, flex direction, column, and we want to say align items to the center, height 100%. There we go. There we go. All right. Let's change this actually. This just needs to be justify content. Display flags, justify content, line items. Perfect. Okay. So now for our form, there we go. Now, is this? I want to have this take up the full width of the screen here. Our form container isn't taking up the full width of the screen. So, let's see here. No, that looks good. Close that. We'll come back and have a look at that here in a minute. Whoops. We can leave that. It's fine. All right. So now for our div here, they don't have a class name. That's all right. So let's just say contact form container. Then our div, we wanted to display flex direction column. There we go. Now for our labels, contact, we'll say form label 2 rem, 0.7 rem on the bottom, 0 on the left. See how that is. Not sure if we're going to keep those. Let's have a look and see what it looks over here. Yeah, let's change that around. So for, that's looking good there. All right. So let's see. Contact form. That's looking good. Div. Let's hide those for now. There we go. Now for our inputs, we're going to take care of those. Input, we'll say form input and text area. Kind of lump those all into one. Do padding 0.5 rem, font size 1.2 rem, color. There we go. Margin 1 rem. 0 on the left and right. Let's do font family. Let's see, Repo, and adding in that secondary font background. Let's do RGBA. Yeah, dang it. That's okay. 0, 0. That's just up there. That's just that. Ooh. That's okay. All right, let's do a box shadow. So I got this off kind of like a glass set up here, so it actually generated this for me. There we go. Let's have a look at that. There we go. It's supposed to look like glass though. That's not too far off. All right, so let's do backdrop, filter. We'll say blur 4 pixels, and say border radius. Keep it consistent here. Border 1 pixel, solid. Just copy that down right there. Boom. Have a look at that. That looks pretty good right there. Probably don't need that outline on there. Let's change that. On a focus. There we go. And we'll say text area focus. There we go. Boom, boom. Outline. And let's do the var. Looks good. That's good. Inbox. Shadow. 0, 0, 12 pixels, 0. Color. So look now. All right, that's what we want right there. Looks good. Looks good. Awesome. Cool. Cool. All right. All right. All right. Well, let's get this thing positioned how it should be, because that looks kind of jacked up. And we'll probably need a media query here. Open it up a bit. Boom, there we go. Let's open it up. That's what we want. Nice. Now, we want this to come down here in the middle of the screen. So let's see what's going on there. So we have our contact and then our container. Let's go have a look at our index.css, our container here. Let's move this. Let's give it a height of 100%. That should See if that does it. Boom, there we go. All right, let's open this up full screen here. There we go. Nice, nice. Home button. Yes, got everything's looking clean down to here. Oh, let's have a look at our container here. It's not displaying properly. So I think those were absolute. So the content was absolute. So that, if we just make that relative, there we go. Okay, so the content is position is absolute. So that just means we had to change our container, which is the parent container, to a position that is relative. So make sure everything works here. Got a recovery route. Boom. We're using our functional component there for our footer. It's cloud security component here. We're using that one on the home page, and as well as this page here and our contact page. And of course, the React smooth scroll is working nice there. Boom. Have a look at the home page. Everything is looking good. There we go. All right, you guys, I hope you liked it. If you did, make sure you smash that like button. Consider subscribing to my channel. I'm going to be putting out some more content just like this here in the near future, working on some MongoDB full stack applications as well as some Firebase. So thanks for following along, you guys. Hope you like it. If you have any questions, make sure you drop them down in the comments below. I'm trying to answer as many as I can. So thanks for following along. I'll see you on the next one.